Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago Fire star reveals Pascal's hesitance to bring Damon back to 51. Jack Damon, Michael Bradway, seemed as though he'd been written out of Chicago Fire at the top of season 13. The character was transferred to another firehouse after a lapse in judgment that nearly got his half-brother, Kelly Severide, Taylor Kinney, in trouble. Thankfully, he has returned. Damon has not only proven himself to be a better firefighter since his 51 incident, but someone who is loyal to those around him. He's experiencing a bit of trouble due to the antics of a colleague, and so Severide has floated the idea of bringing him back to 51. It makes a lot of sense on paper, especially since Sam Carver, Jake Lockett, is on leave. It's not something Chief Don Pascal is necessarily thrilled over though. The actor who plays Pascal, Dermot Mulroney, recently spoke to TV Line about the impending transfer and admits his character has some reservations. Why? Well, because he doesn't want to turn a professional workplace into a family hangout. He's pretty sus about having all of these family trappings in his firehouse, Mulroney said regarding his character. There are reverberations of this later, but this whole Severide and kid together thing, kind of a burden in the saddle to begin with, and now we're adding somebody's brother. So from an administrative point of view, you can understand why Pascal would have some hesitance. He has a point. Severide and Stella Kid, Miranda Ray Mayo, already command a lot of 51, and they are married, so the addition of another family member could run the risk of making the firehouse a bit skewed in terms of favoritism. We almost saw this favoritism play out when Severide tried to cover up Damon's aforementioned mistake. The thing is though, Damon has improved. He seems to be a much better firehouse addition than he was months ago, and Pascal is nothing if not fair, he's noticed. Damon just keeps proving himself, he noted. So that speaks for itself, and that's the tension in the story that's really fun to watch too. Mulroney also revealed that Pascal has a soft spot when it comes to redemption stories and second chances. He's been through a lot, and he knows how tough it can be to recover. Pascal likes to see a guy take his knocks and have a second chance, he confirmed. We know Damon is going to be in the mix for the end of season 13. We just hope he's able to impress Pascal enough to secure a 51 spot. Chicago Fire star Joe Minoso, who portrays Joe Cruz, recently opened up about the complicated dynamics surrounding the possible return of Damon, the troubled young man Cruz took under his wing. Minoso shed light on showrunner Andrea Pascal's hesitance to bring Damon back to Firehouse 51, despite Cruz's deep connection to him and the storylines that remain unresolved. For fans who have followed Cruz's journey, Damon's introduction was an emotional one. Cruz, always eager to help those in need, saw something in Damon, a spark of potential buried beneath the hardship and mistakes of his past. Viewers watched as Cruz went above and beyond, mentoring Damon and giving him an opportunity to turn his life around. But like many young men struggling to break free from difficult circumstances, Damon's journey was not a smooth one. He made missteps, leading to a dramatic exit that left both Cruz and fans wondering if there was still hope for him. Now, Minoso is offering insight into why Damon has not yet returned to Firehouse 51, despite the emotional weight of his story. Speaking candidly in a recent interview, the actor explained that Pascal has been very thoughtful about whether bringing Damon back serves the larger narrative of the show. Andrea doesn't take these decisions lightly, Minoso shared. She's always thinking about what makes sense for the characters and what adds real stakes to the show. I know there are a lot of fans asking about Damon, and trust me, I love the idea of revisiting that storyline, but there's been some hesitance because it's a tricky situation. How do you bring him back in a way that feels earned? Pascal's reluctance, according to Minoso, stems from the fact that Chicago Fire thrives on realistic storytelling. The show prides itself on portraying the complexities of life in the fire service, where not every relationship gets tied up neatly with a bow. There's a fear that if Damon were to return too soon, or under circumstances that felt forced, it might cheapen the emotional resonance of his departure. Pascal has told me that she wants to make sure Damon's story feels authentic, Minoso continued. If he comes back, it has to be because he's ready, because he's taken real steps to change his life. Otherwise, it could send the wrong message about the kind of second chances the show tries to portray. Still, Minoso admits that he has personally advocated for Damon's return. As an actor, I miss that dynamic. Cruz sees a lot of himself in Damon, and their bond was something really special. It was an opportunity for Cruz to step into a mentorship role, and I think there's more to explore there. While Pascal's hesitance is understandable, there are still plenty of ways Damon could be reintegrated into the show in a way that feels both natural and impactful. One possibility, Minoso suggests, is that Damon could return having made real progress in his life, perhaps showing up at 51 not as someone in need of rescue, but as someone who has something to offer. What I would love to see is a moment where Damon surprises Cruz, Minoso said with a grin. Imagine him coming back as a paramedic or joining the academy. That would be a full-circle moment that shows real growth. Cruz would be so proud, and it would be a reminder that the things we do for people matter, even if we don't always see the results right away. Of course, the decision ultimately rests with Pascal and the Chicago Fire writers' room. For now, there's no official confirmation that Damon will return, but Minoso's comments suggest that the door isn't entirely closed. I think it's a matter of timing, he mused. There are a lot of moving parts in a show like this, and every character has their own arc, but I have hope, and I know fans do too. Fans have taken to social media to voice their desire for Damon's return, with many expressing their admiration for the bond between Cruz and his former protege. Some argue that bringing Damon back would not only provide closure, but also reinforce the themes of redemption and second chances that the series has championed for over a decade. Pascal, for her part, has remained relatively quiet on the subject, offering only vague teases when asked about Damon's fate. During a recent panel discussion, she acknowledged that Damon's story isn't necessarily over, but she didn't provide any concrete details on when, or if, he might be seen again. "We love that character and we love what he means to Cruz," Pascal said. "But we also want to be careful with how we handle that story. We don't want to bring him back just for the sake of nostalgia. We want it to mean something." For now, viewers will have to wait and see if Damon finds his way back to Firehouse 51. Whether he returns as someone in need of help or as someone who has finally found his footing, one thing is certain: his story still lingers in the hearts of both Cruz and the fans who watched their bond unfold. As Minoso put it, this show is about family, and families don't forget each other. No matter where Damon is, he's still part of Cruz's story, and I think that means there's always a chance we'll see him again.